Hey everyone, it's Jenny at JC Cards, and today I'm joining you with 3 cards that I created using Wow Fab Foils and liquid adhesive. I am going to just be using liquid glue to apply my foils, and I'll show you how I did it. It's really easy. Word of warning, it's really messy. So let's get started. I'm using the gold Fab Foil today, and I'm going to be using that on all 3 cards. And I'm also using this FlitterGlu. It's by IndigoBlu. I didn't try this with any other liquid mediums. You could of course try it with what you've got in your stash, but I do use this glue for applying gold leaf, so I thought it would be a good one to try. I'm also using the bold alphabet from Altenew, and I've gone ahead and die cut this. I've die cut the word hope, and what you see here is 4 die cuts stacked one on top of each other to create each letter, and it creates a sort of chipboard type letter. I then also die cut it one more time, and these are the pieces I'm going to be foiling today. To apply my FlitterGlu, I am using, for this technique, a ink blending tool. I've got a new foam piece here, and I've just squirted some FlitterGlu onto my craft mat, and I'm soaking the ink blending tool into it, just getting it good and juicy and making sure that it's soaked in a little bit before I then start bringing the glue up from the bottom of each letter and sort of blending it on and then pouncing it on just to make sure there's enough glue on there. Just a little tip, you'll see that I apply the glue to the letter E last, but it's actually the first one I go in with my foil. And I found that the foil, you'll see here, I'm just pushing it over, rubbing it in with my finger, and then I'm also going to be using a Teflon bone folder to rub that foil in before I then lift it up. I did find that the foil didn't stick as well to the E as it did to the H, which had had a tiny little bit, no more than a minute, of drying time. So it is worth leaving the glue to go slightly tacky before starting to apply your foil. So I am going in and lifting up my foil and then reapplying it with using my Teflon bone folder in places where it didn't stick. Now I'm going for a distressed look here. I think it would be challenging, just because this is a liquid glue, to get anything other than a distressed look. But if you go in several times with a piece of foil, and even a new piece of foil if that gets used up, you do get good results. And in person it looks like almost like brushed metal or stainless steel. It's really cool. And for that reason I'm kind of keeping my cards clean and simple, sort of very modern, just to go with that look. So I've now got a panel of 110 pound cardstock here. I do recommend, given how much liquid adhesive we're adding here, that you use a sturdy cardstock. And I'm going in with the ink blending tool and doing it almost like you would with using an ink. I do pounce it a little bit more, and then I'm going in with the foil. I'm rubbing it with my finger first just to get it to stick, and then I'll go back in with my Teflon bone folder. I would recommend doing a little check in the corner to see if it's starting to stick. If it's not, go back in with your bone folder. You can rub pretty roughly as well. I didn't experience the foil ripping at all. And then just lift it up and pull it. And I would recommend pulling it a little bit slower than I'm doing here. It did leave a few kind of stripes just where it lifted up. And I've gone back in with my foil and I'm pushing it in on any of the gaps, and you get a great effect. I did actually in the end have to go in with another piece of foil, and this is the look you get. Again, it's distressed, but it really looks like brushed metal. Now for the third card, I'm going to do some splattering, and I wanted to add a little bit of liquid to the glue that was left on my craft mat, and I went in with an old paintbrush. I grabbed the wrong one and now I've ruined my paintbrush that I actually do use for painting. So I'm just splattering it all over. I did say this would get messy. Splattering it all over. I recommend using a splatter box if you have one, or something to protect your work surface a bit wider than you'd anticipate. And then I left it to go a little bit tacky, about 30 seconds, and then I'm going in the same way again with my bone folder and the gold foil. And you just go all over, and you'll find the larger blobs of glue will splatten down, but it gives this really cool look, almost like paint splatters, but they're foil, and they have that brushed metal look as well. So it is a great technique, and I definitely will be trying this again. I'm then going to finish off my cards, so I'm adding the letters that we foiled on top of the stacks that I'd already created using a bit of my art glitter glue, and then I will put an acrylic block on top just to hold that in place while it dries. And here's a quick look at the final letter. I'm going to arrange the 4 letters on a note card in a square pattern. I didn't measure this, I kind of eyeballed it. You could of course use a pencil to make sure everything is perfectly centered and then erase the pencil afterwards. I'm just adhering with liquid glue the chipboard, chipboard-esque elements onto the center of the card, and then I'm using some Catherine Pooler sequins in Vegas Baby, which go really well with the gold foil just in various areas on the letters. And here's a quick close-up of the first card. Now for my second card, I've die cut the Celebrate die by Catherine Pooler from black fun foam and then black cardstock, and adhered them together. I'm then adding it to the paint splattered background, or ink, I should say glue splattered background. It is self-adhesive fun foam, and I bent it slightly so it made a bit of an arch, and I pretty much kept it like that. Thought it looked really cool with the black contrasting with the gold. I did add a few more of the Vegas Baby sequins in a few places. And then for my final card, this is the one where we did add a lot of the FlitterGlu. Even though it's thick cardstock, it did cause some warping. So I do recommend using a really strong adhesive on your card base and make sure it's fully covered so that you can prevent the warping on that panel. And I've die cut in the same way, the same letters, the Altenew bold alphabet, from 4 layers of black cardstock and 1 layer of black glitter cardstock, stacked them together, and then I'm adhering them to the card. To finish off the sentiment, I'm grabbing my trusty Dymo label maker. Do you remember these? Click, 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 click. I think I got this one on eBay. It's a super old one. I love it. I use it all the time. And I'm just trimming it down. I peeled off the backing sticker and added some foam squares to the back and popped it above the Y to finish the sentiment. And that completes the 3 cards. Here's a quick close-up of that last one. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to click the bell to be reminded when I have more videos. And here's a couple of others you might enjoy. This video also appears on the Wow Embossing YouTube channel, so be sure to hop on over and subscribe there as well. Have an awesome day. Bye!